Welcome to another episode from EduExcel, where we celebrate strength, resilience, and the unstoppable power of women everywhere. I'm your host, Nirmala Thakur, and I am thrilled to have you join us on this journey of empowerment, inspiration, and action. Women empowerment is about more than just equality. It's about unlocking the potential within every woman to shape their own destiny and contribute to our collective future. Women empowerment refers to the process by which women gain power, influence, and control over their own lives and societal roles, enabling them to make strategic choices and pursue their goals freely. It encompasses various dimensions, including social, economic, political, and personal aspects aimed at achieving gender equality and empowering women to participate fully in societal development. The welfare scheme, since its inception, seems perfect with all the broad aspects covered. They have objectives to fulfill, but once the plan is laid, the implementation part faces various bottlenecks. Jeevika is one such scheme which aims to eradicate poverty by using women as a strategy. The growth story of Bihar in recent years has not necessarily included women. They remain marginalized, for example, low literacy rate 53.53% as compared to male literacy rate which stands at 73.39%. Female feticide and dowry deaths are still rampant. The need for women empowerment in the development discourse plays a key role. I would like to know what a program like Jeevika can mean to women and how its effect translation can lead to positive social, economic, and political change. Jeevika Didi in Bihar refers to women community mobilizers associated with the Jeevika program, which is the Bihar Rural Livelihoods Project supported by the World Bank. This program aims for the socio-economic empowerment of rural poor women by forming self-help groups to improve household incomes and access to financial services. Jeevika Didi's work as grassroots leaders within these groups facilitating financial inclusion and supporting rural women. Recently, Bihar's political leader Tejasvi Yadav promised that if his party wins the state elections, Jeevika Didis will be granted permanent government job status along with a salary of rupees 30,000 per month. Additional loans taken by Jeevika Didis would be waived. They would receive interest-free loans for 2 years and insurance coverage up to rupees 5 lakhs. Jeevika is one of the largest women-focused socio-economic empowerment programs in India, reaching millions of rural families across Bihar through a structure of self-help groups and federations. In summary, Jeevika Didis are women community mobilizers working under a major rural empowerment program in Bihar, and there are recent political promises to institutionalize their work as permanent government jobs with improved pay and benefits. The main duties of a Jeevika Didi who acts as a community mobilizer in Bihar's rural development program include mobilizing rural women into self-help groups and facilitating their meetings, facilitating access to loans and promoting financial inclusion, teaching women business skills and livelihood activities, raising awareness about social issues like health, education, sanitations, such as promoting open defecation free villages, acting as health friends by running Jan Aushadhi centers, affordable medicine shops, engaging in environmental activities like tree plantation, maintaining records and bookkeeping for SHG activities, supporting the overall nurturing and empowerment of women and their families in the community. These roles aim to improve women's socio-economic status and strengthen collective community organizations at the grassroots level through Jeevika's comprehensive empowerment approach. In comparison to other state livelihood programs, Jeevika in Bihar shows a mixed but generally positive performance pattern with some distinct strengths and areas for improvement. Jeevika's farm interventions are relatively more successful and have higher household enrollment compared to its livestock and non-farm interventions. The farm sector activities consistently uh, attract more participants and appear to generate better income outcomes for rural households. However, the livestock and non farm sectors have struggled with lower enrollments and inconsistent support, limiting the benefits households can derive from these livelihood streams. This contrasts with some other Indian state programs where livestock or non farm activities form a larger share of livelihood diversification. Jeevika's self-help groups model and its integration with existing social dynamics in Bihar have effectively increased women's financial inclusion, reduced reliance on moneylenders, and modestly reduced high-cost debt burdens, outcomes consistent with evidence from other SSG-based livelihood programs across India. Impact evaluations show that Jivika positively affects household incomes and food security with improvements in agricultural productivity and women's empowerment similar to or in some cases stronger than other state livelihood projects due to the scale and integrated approach of Jivika. The challenge across multiple livelihood interventions in Jeevika mirrors broader and national trends. Farm based income generation is typically more easily adopted by rural households, whereas non farm and livestock interventions require more tailored support and infrastructure for scalable impact. In summary, compared to other state livelihood initiatives, Jivika excels in farm based livelihood promotion with strong SSG networks that enhance women's empowerment and financial inclusion, but faces challenges in expanding the reach and impact of its livestock and non farm livelihood activities. Jeevika's caste-wise enrollment reflects the demographic composition of Bihar's population. According to data from studies and official reports, about 60% of Jeevika members belong to the other backward classes (OBC) category. Around 25% of enrollment members are from scheduled castes. Approximately 15% of members come from extremely backward classes, that is EBC. Minority communities account for roughly 7% of the membership. These proportions generally align with the Bihar's caste composition, where EBCs constitute 36%, OBCs 27%, and scheduled castes about 20% of the population. Jivika thus prioritizes inclusion of socially and economically marginalized groups with a strong presence of OBC and SC women among, among its community mobilizers and members. The enrollment figures also highlight that the majority of Jivika participants come from disadvantaged castes, contributing to empowerment and livelihood improvements in these communities. Evidence from recent research identifies specific districts in Bihar where the strongest social backlash to women's empowerment initiatives like Jivika has been observed. Field-based studies conducted between December 2023 and January 2024 found the highest resistance and backlash in the districts of Vaishali, Muzaffarpur, Lakhisarai, Nalanda, and Gaya. These areas exhibited noticeably high rates of domestic and social violence against women despite several years of Jivika implementation. In these districts, 35% of women reported experiencing physical or sexual violence from their spouse within the previous 12 months, significantly higher than the national average of 24%. Moreover, 37% of women and 34% of men surveyed in Bihar agreed that domestic violence could be justified under certain conditions, such as a wife disrespecting in laws or not cooking properly, reflecting reflecting entrenched patriarchal norms. Studies describe this reaction as male backlash, a pattern where Jivika and similar empowerment programs raise women's confidence and access to resources, inadvertently provoking male insecurity and social tensions in districts with rigid caste hierarchies and traditional gender roles. Tejasvi's announcement in October 2025 promising permanent government staff status and improved benefits for Jeevika Didis has marked a major shift in their status and public perception. Previously, most Jeevika Didis were contractual workers with limited financial and social security. The announcement pledges to grant them permanent government jobs, employee status, a monthly salary of 30,000, multifold increase over average 5,000 to 10,000 earlier. Loan waivers and access to interest-free loans for 2 years, a monthly work allowance of 2,000, insurance coverage of up to 5 lakhs. These benefits address long-standing demands among Jeevika Didis for recognition, job security, and improved livelihoods and reflect a new political focus on women's empowerment and rural economic inclusion in Bihar. The impact of this announcement, if implemented, would significantly elevate Jeevika Didi's economic and social standing, making them stable professional workers rather than temporary mobilizers. It also signals greater respect and institutional support for women's role in rural development, likely expanding their influence and attracting more women to participate in the SHG model. This move is considered a political game changer in Bihar's 2025 elections, while competing parties prompted to enhance their own social welfare measures targeting women's groups. Evidence from past state rollouts of permanentizing contract workers provides important lessons. The Supreme Court of India has ruled that workers performing permanent or perennial work should not be classified as contract workers and ordered their regularization. This legal precedent supports the permanentization of contract workers engaged in essential long term functions to protect their rights and welfares. Experiences from other sectors and programs show that permanentizing contract or temporary workers leads to better job security, social protection, and motivation, which may translate into improved performance and outcomes. However, it also requires adequate fiscal planning and institutional reforms to manage increased wage bills and staffing norms. Some states that have incorporated contractual workers as permanent government employees face challenges in balancing budget constraints with demands for salary parity and service terms. Transparent communication and phased implementation helped ease the transition. The key benefits observed from permanentization include reduction in labor disputes, enhanced commitment and accountability from workers, and greater stability in program delivery. This is especially relevant in public welfare programs where continuity and rapport with communities are crucial. On the flip side, issues such as irregularities in recruitment, salary delays, and gaps in training need attention to fully realize the benefit of permanentization reforms. In summary, past rollouts indicate that while permanentizing contract workers such as Jeevika Didi under proposed plans positively impacts worker welfare and program effectiveness, successful implementation depends on legal backing, budget management, and capacity building and transparent governance. Tejasvi Yadav's announcement to make Jeevika Didi's permanent government employees with a monthly salary of 30,000, loan waivers, interest-free credit, additional allowances, and insurance coverage is expected to significantly advance women's empowerment in Bihar. How the announcement helps women empowerment. Economic security and independence by providing a stable permanent job with a substantial salary, the Didis gain financial security and independence, strengthening their bargaining power within households and communities. Social recognition and status, permanent government employment elevates their social standing and respect, reducing vulnerabilities often faced by contractual workers and enhancing their influence locally. Access to credit and reduced debt burden, loan waivers and interest-free credit removes financial burdens and enable women to invest in livelihoods, education or health, contributing to their overall well-being. Health and life insurance coverage improves their social safety net, allowing them to take calculated risks in economic and social activities without fear of catastrophic losses. Broader participation and voice, empowered with stable jobs and better incomes, these women are likely to have greater confidence and voice in community decision making and governance, driving gender equality and inclusive development. In sum, the announcement transforms Jeevika Didis from precarious contractual workers to recognized, secure contributors to Bihar's development. This stable livelihood opportunity directly promotes women empowerment by enhancing their economic independence, social status, and decision making power. As we conclude today's episode, a heartfelt thank to Jeevika Didis for inspiring us with their strength, vision, and dedication towards empowering women and transforming lives. Your journey and commitment light a path for many, and we are truly grateful to have shared this space with you. To all our listeners, thank you for tuning in and for being part of this important conversation on women's empowerment. Your support and attention fuel the momentum for change. Keep believing in the power of women and continue to lift each other. Until next time, stay empowered and keep making a difference. Thank you and goodbye. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.